Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy. It's my pleasure. So it's my honor to be out here in nature and greeting you, bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that is why I want to speak to you on the subject of no one is going to leave here alive. So let me repeat myself again. No one is going to leave here alive. And the reason why I'm saying this is that there are a sect of people all around the world. These people all around the world who believe that they're going to come a day when they're going to just flip out of their bodies and they're going to go up in the sky in what is known as a rapture, and they would not face death. But that doesn't align with nature. So I'm going to show you it in nature, and then I'm going to show you also that that kind of belief is not really scriptural. Okay? But before I do that, I want to let you know the basis of my teaching is that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. For the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history. And the Bible was written symbolically. Also, it has no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago or to any actual event that would have taken place on earth thousands of years ago. So from the beginning to the ending of the Bible, it's all a great psychological drama, and it all have to do with the human psyche. So when it comes to those who believe that they're just going to leave their body and they're not going to face death, they fail to realize that existence itself based on inhaling and exhaling. And when we come here, we have our first breath here, which is an inhalation. And then when we leave here, it will be our last breath here also, which would be an exhalation. And when we look around, we see for anything to live, something have to die. So we see a pattern in nature all around us. That anything that lives, it dies, and anything that dies, it lives. So a death is actually a birth, and a birth is a death. So what is a death here might be alive over there, or what might be a death over there might be alive here. Look at it that way. Okay? So when you see things that way, then you would realize that no one is gonna ever leave this planet alive to go anywhere. Okay? Because we are all thought evolved beings. And there was a time when we were not here having this human experience. And so, because our parents had this deep desire, or this burning desire, which was a thought, that was what caused them to have sex, to have us express here. So actually, you cannot really die unless you ever live. You have to live in order for you to die. So you can't expect to live and not to die. So my brothers, my sisters, you have to realize that we decide to come here and be kept by certain limitation. But we are not really limited. We are limitless. And we're born here in amnesia, which is a state of forgetfulness. So we are to know exactly who we are. And when we get to know who we are, then that's when we start remembering. That's why even the Bible tells you when you've been empowered from on high, which is a higher level of thinking, a higher level of understanding. When you understand that the kingdom of God is within you and you look within, you'll discover this higher understanding, and it will bring all things to your remembrance. And that is why you would realize that everything here is connected. So you look in nature, you see the trees, they will chew off all of their leaves in the atom. And then they go into the process of death in the winter. But when springtime comes, they burst forth back to life. And then summer, they're blooming again. It's all a cycle. Everything is happening in a cycle. And I'm saying all of this to say to you that you have to stop fooling yourself, believing that you are a human trying to be spiritual, and that one of these days you're going to escape death. And you're going to escape death because you're part of a religious organization. No. In order to conquer death, hell, and the grave, you have to discover yourself. You have to discover who you are. It can only be done from within because the kingdom of God is within you. It can only be done from experience. So I'm saying all of this to show you the stupidity for anyone to think that naturally speaking or physically speaking, they're just going to flip out of their body like that. No. Your spirit having a human experience. And if you should worship God or your higher self, your inner self, you must do it in spirit and in truth according to, I think, St. John 4:24. Therefore, you must go within. So, my brother, my sisters, when you understand that no one is going to leave here alive, you will realize that death is inevitable. And we all must come to understand what is death by understanding that we are eternal. And understanding that we have to conquer all our doubt and our fears because the devil is our self-doubt. Hell is when we're living in our self-doubt. And we must conquer all of these things before we can come to the higher place of consciousness, before we can live in our heavenly places, before we can have that Christ mind, the mind of Christ. It's all about the mind. It's all mental. It's all psychological. That's what it is telling you about. And that's what I'm actually saying to you. Everything takes place within. So, just to think about a rapture, the way how religious people look at a rapture, they're actually fooling themselves, believing that the Bible is literal and that the Bible is secular history, and that they're just gonna flip out of their body. Every time you go to bed, every night that you go to bed, you're having an out-of-body experience. And there are those of us who would have had out-of-body experience that are so vivid that we can come right back here and tell you of what the experience is all about. Like myself, who had the birth from the skull, the birth from above, the new birth, the virgin birth. Go through the death, burial, and the resurrection. So my brothers and my sisters, it all takes place within. So stop fooling yourself and think you're going to leave here alive. No one is going to leave here alive. We all must face death. It's a part of the game. You need to know that this life, it's all a dream. But you can never know that it's a dream until you wake up out of the dream. And it's when you wake up out of the dream that you will know that death is not what you think it is. That's when you will know that you are that Melchizedek. No beginning of days, no ending of life. No mother, no father, none of that. Your pure spirit, your pure consciousness, your pure energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. But energy can be transmuted, it can be transformed. It's just a transformation. It's a metamorphosis. Like from a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. So, all the religious people who are so fearful of death and who are so fearful of the unknown, facing yourself. Because our biggest enemy is ourselves. And it's only until we face ourselves that we're able to conquer death, hell, and the grave. And we say, oh grave, where will thy sting? Whatever. Okay? You know what I'm trying to say at this time? But you conquer death, hell, and the grave. I think it say, oh death, where is thy sting? Oh grave, where is thy victory? Okay, that's what I would have meant to say a while ago. You are the one who would declare that. But you have to look within to conquer. You cannot look without. For if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. Everything you see on the outside is an expression of what is on the inside. And what are your circumstances and what you are facing have to do with your perception. The perception of how you see yourself or how you see the world around you. It's all your perception. Because remember, it is your own thoughts that is creating your reality and creating your personality. That's why the Bible tells you, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, facing your fears and learn to understand no one is leaving here alive. We all must face death. So religious people, stop fooling yourself. No man is coming from the sky for you. No one is coming from the sky for you. Everything is within. The coming is within. Everything takes place within. And one of these days, you see God face to face. And you call the place Peniel, like Jacob. And you have a change of name from Jacob to Israel. Then you understand the story is your spiritual autobiography that must be interpreted psychologically. Stop running from yourself. Stop hiding from yourself and face yourself and realize that no one is ever going to leave here alive. We all must face death to go back to our original place. To go back to source, that infinite intelligence. That's why we must get back in touch with that infinite intelligence by living from within. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I want to thank you very much, and I want to say to you, if what I'm saying, if it really inspire you or help you in any way, if you haven't subscribed already, I would like to encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. Also, I'd like to encourage you to follow me on Instagram at BlackMadGuru. And also, if you haven't taken my course, the Inner Sun Science and Technology or the Inner Sun Engineering, it's for just for $20 for people who donate $20 on my Patreon. It's there, and you can check it out. And even for those who might be able to just donate $1 or $2, there's so much information that's there for you also. Okay, other than the Inner Sun Science and Technology. Okay, but if you want to do the Inner Sun and Science Technology and you want to follow me with that course and that teaching, which I'll be teaching all along, okay, then you can do so. Also, if you would like to support this work in any other way, we have a PayPal link and you can check it out. It's right down below in the description. So with all of that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.